Good night, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome once again to another LimeVibe Live podcast. I'm your host, Yori Camp from Nassau, Bahamas. Very wet Nassau, Bahamas. It's been raining all day. So thank you for joining me again to another LimeVibe Live podcast. Please like, share, and subscribe to our Facebook and YouTube page. That's LimeVibe77. That's LimeVibe77 on Facebook and YouTube. And also, there's a donate link inside the description. So anything that moves your heart to give to the LimeVibe Live podcast, please do so. You give up to $5 or $50,000, up to you. It's an open donate link. There's no cash stipulations, there's no minimum, and there's no maximum. So there you go. First of all, I'd like to say Merry Christmas to everybody and Happy New Year. We're at the final edges of the year, the final weeks of the year, final days of the year, I should say. I just want to wish you guys a very Merry Christmas and a very prosperous New Year. I hope you've been going to a lot of parties, and I hope you've been enjoying your family and friends. That should be the standard for the end of the year festivities. I don't know what you guys have in your neck of the woods, but we normally have the Christmas carnival that comes over. Not the dancing carnival, it's like a circus. We have an annual circus that comes every Christmas time, the last week in November and lasts up until mid-February. And they're here to help, to celebrate the end of the year festivities with us and to bring in the new year, really. So I always go. I went last year and I'm going to go again this year. I don't care who's it with. I'm going to enjoy all the rides, man. Yeah, so Merry Christmas, everybody. And I hope you're ending off your year positively and in good stead and in good health. This year blew by very quickly. 2023 blew by very quickly. I was shocked. Like one day, we're in the middle of the summer. Next thing I knew was October, and it was Halloween. And then after Halloween, bam, we're into Christmas. It happened just like that. One day it was New Year's. Next thing you know, it was, the summertime. School was out for the summer. And when I rolled around, it was October. It was Halloween. That was it. It's the end of the year. We're soon there. 2023 is gone, and 2024 is soon here. And 2023 was a rebound year for many of our Caribbean countries, wasn't it? There's a big rebound, tourism-wise in particular. We were reflating from the pandemic. 2023 was a reflate year for the Caribbean, Central America. All these economies are just trying to get themselves back to where they were pre-pandemic, pre-2020. That's what happened. And so with that, tonight we're going to do like a different kind of show. We're not going to go through a bunch of, all that kind of stuff, right? Any new stuff, right? Except for one or two things. We're going to have a light recap of what we spoke about all year this year. Just a light recap of some of the top stories that we covered here on LimeVibe and Caribbean Magazine Plus. So the first story, I should say, was that the biggest, this is not in any order by any stretch of the imagination. This is not any order. It's just what some of the things that we talked about. It isn't by one, by two, by three, or a top story, the least likely story, but the stories that we covered here in particular. We've been covering the climate finance issue all year. We've been talking about how, the Caribbean leaders have been pushing for climate finance. And finally, at COP28 this year in Dubai, they put in place a loss and damage fund. Okay? And they're going to capitalize a loss and damage fund for Caribbean countries and developing countries that have been impacted by climate change. They're going to have that loss and damage fund where they can tap into that fund and get some sort of reparations from all the damages that have been foisted upon them by the developed countries with all the damage they've been doing to the environment. That's good. But even more so than that, Mia Mottley, she's the second story. She keeps on going. She's the second point. Mia Mottley continues to be the flavor of the month. That's our second top story for the year. People just can't stop talking about Mia Mottley, She's been pushing for climate finance, the changes to the international financial regulatory regime that allows for better financing for countries that have been impacted by climate change. You can't be giving us the same loans on the same terms that you're giving to the developed countries. We just can't do that, because when we have the factor in hurricanes, and some of us now have the factor in earthquakes, like with Haiti and the Dominican Republic, we cannot have the same financing mechanisms be allowed to pay the same money back in the same fashion the way the United States would. That's just not fair. And so she's been pushing vehemently for change in the international financial arena to take into consideration climate finance. And you just have to, tip your hat at her because she's kept on that. She's kept bullying on that. And so she's been leading the charge. She's one of the Times person's most interesting persons of the year, actually. It's been about her. She's been a bright spot in this region. Even though I have my misgivings about her, but she has been doing her work and she's been doing it diligently. You can't take that away from her. You can't take that away from Mia Mottley that she's been on the ground for, first and foremost, pushing for issues that affect us all in this region. You just can't deny that. Okay? And I wish her all the best, and I wish the best for her in 2024 as well, to continue to pushing on with this climate finance change. This international financial regime. This has to change for us. They have us by the testicles. We can't pay back these exorbitant loans at those rates, considering what we have to deal with the hurricane and things that you put on us. The larger countries put that on us. We had very little to do with climate change and degrading the environment and carbon emissions. Some of us are even negative carbon emissions, man. We have nothing to do with that. So why are we paying for that? And paying the same rates that you pay, and we're doing no damage at all. So Mia Mottley is right, and she has to continually push on that, and she is our second top story for the year. The year has been about Mia Mottley, straight up and down. You cannot deny it. Okay? So, yeah. The third story is this unholy mess in Guatemala. We've been covering that as well, just recently too. This presidential election just went from bad to worse. Oh my goodness. Now, President-elect Bernardo Arevalo, he's expected to be, ratified not ratified, but he's expected to take office in January 5th next year. So the reins will change over from Alejandro Giammatte's regime over to Bernardo Arevalo's regime. And he won fair and square, but the Giammatte regime just cannot understand and just cannot keep their hands off trying to investigate the man who won the election. As we said before numerous times, elections are won on the ground. Elections are won on the ground. All right? There's nothing Giammatte can do. And in fact, he didn't even run for re-election. I don't think he could have, And Sandra Torres, the former first lady, she lost handily, And Bernardo Arevalo just popped up out of nowhere, and people were just so surprised by that. They were shocked by that. He has swept them, swept them all out. And so he is expected to take office officially January 5th, and they're not giving him any ease at all. He is now, under numerous investigations by the outgoing Giammatte government for election tampering and election corruption, election fraud. Nothing's going to stick, and the window's going to close very soon on that investigation as well, because January 5th is right around the corner. He's going to take office. Now, after you've already harassed the man, he's going to take office. He's going to become the president of Guatemala officially now, and you've harassed the man. What do you expect him to do when he gets in power? You better hope that he's not a petty man of vengeance. That's why you got to think about these things, man. You got to think about these things, man. And his people are up and down in the streets protesting like crazy. And he's probably gained even more supporters now because you just keep messing with the man. Okay? He's probably gained even more supporters, and now more people are just looking at you now, not just in Guatemala, but also the international community as well, Mr. Giammatte. This is not a good look. This is not a good look. And this is a top story that keeps on developing, and it's going to go into next year. So, that's the third top story, the mess that's in the Guatemalan election. And how bloodthirsty, and how bloody Central American politics really is. And it's just a shame. Another Central American issue, the fourth issue, is this Nayib Bukele's El Salvador gang crackdown. He's another rising star. He's really taken El Salvador by the horns. He's really taken the problem by the horns, and he's grappled with those gangs, the MS-13 and the Barrio 18 gang. He's really wrestled them to the ground, and he's really put his foot on their necks. He's arrested hundreds of those gang members, and he's cleaned up the streets of El Salvador. The gangs are in fear of him. That's what's supposed to be. That's how it's supposed to be. The gangs are in fear of Nayib Bukele. And what can you say? The man cleaned up the streets. And yeah, they had some critics saying, oh no, human rights abuses and all that kind of stuff. Oh, well, let's save it. Save it. You weren't in the streets when those gangs had those citizens in terror. Some of those gangs, they reached the United States as well, had American citizens in terror. He's done the entire region a favor by ridding El Salvador and putting his foot on the necks of those gangs, the Barrio 18 gang and the MS-13 gang. He's done a yeoman's job. He's probably even bigger than Mia Mottley, I would say. He's cleaning that country right up. You go to any story on Caribbean Magazine Plus and search El Salvador, gang crackdown, you'll see exactly what we're talking about, man. He's done a yeoman's job. He's done what nobody else could have done in Central America, in El Salvador. He's cleaned up those gangs. He's cleaned up the streets. They even scared to even come out, man. And that's what it's supposed to be. Sit down. Sit down. Stop it. You're ruining a good country. Now the streets are safe to walk in El Salvador. People can go about doing business. Commerce can continue safely, unimpeded. And that's what we needed. So hats off to, well, I tip my hat to Nayib Bukele, the El Salvadorian president. He's really done a good job. The fifth story I'll be covering here was that this citizenship by investment situation in the Dominica. Oh my goodness, that keeps getting on the international airwaves. This citizenship by investment program in Dominica. What can we say? I mean, all intents and purposes, it looks corrupt. Look, they'll sell a Kangal dog a passport, and they're illegal in this part of the world, I think. So, what is Roosevelt Scarrett going to do? I mean, his reputation is under assault. He's selling passports to terrorists, they say. Reports have it. And Russian oligarchs. And people who wanted for crimes. That's what they're saying he's selling these passports to. So what are you going to do? What is Roosevelt Scarrett going to do? But the opposition leader in Dominica, I forgot his name, sorry. The opposition leader said that he doesn't want the citizenship by investment to go on the two, like how the European Union has been calling for. The European Union said to scrap the citizenship by investment or to start accepting visas from those countries that give those citizenship by investments, those passports. And, the opposition leader in Dominica said that you can't scrap the CBI because that's how these countries make money. That's how these countries make money. From St. Vincent and the Grenadines to Dominica to Antigua and Barbuda. He said that the citizenship by investment program in Dominica is probably about 80% of the revenue in Dominica. I can believe that. Let me see that again. Let me see if I can find that story on Caribbean Magazine. But if you go to Caribbean Magazine Plus, you'll see the story. Let's go. Let's see if you can find a Dominica CBI. Yeah, don't scrap Dominica CBI by the leader of opposition. What's his name again? Dr. Thompson Fontaine. He was IMF economist as well, so he knows exactly what he's talking about. He said that 60% of Dominica's revenue depends on receipts from the program. That's 60%. So if you scrap the citizenship by investment program and you make it so unattractive, you're going to cripple these countries. Now, I see exactly why, Caribbean leaders are now saying that this is colonization all over again from the European Union. United States has let them get too much power. The United States has allowed European bureaucrats to get too much global power. It's unfair. It's unfair. And it's colonization all over again. It's going to look like slavery all over again. What do they want us to do? Keep on getting handouts from them. That's what they want, huh? They want us to keep on getting handouts from them. We can run our own countries by ourselves. We should not have bowed down when they started to come with this tax evasion nonsense. This FATF, not this Financial Action Task Force nonsense, and this OECD nonsense, right? We should not have bowed down to them when they wanted us to start getting involved in their tax administration. We should not have, listened to the tax evasion nonsense. We should have just stood our ground and held our financial services at stake, at the highest premium. We should not allow them to destroy that. They thought it was more than what it was. But no, we're still going, aren't we? We shouldn't let them dictate. Dr. Thompson Fontaine, Dr. Roosevelt Scarrett, just ignore the European Union. Keep selling those damn passports, man. But just clean it up, man. Clean it up. There's no reason why you shouldn't know an international terrorist is getting a passport. Come on. Be sensible, man. Don't bring so much attention to the situation, man. Jesus. I gotta tell grown men to at least have some sort of decorum, some decency about you, man. Don't sell an international terrorist hell-bent on destroying the world a passport, man. No one should ever tell you that, you psychopath. Right in the middle of this, man, we had some deaths this year. Well, two major deaths that I recall. One is the former PAHO director, Dr. Carissa Etienne. She's a Dominican as well. She passed away just recently, and we also had this soca artist, Richard Drew. He's a big time soca artist from Antigua and Barbuda. They passed away this year. May their souls rest in peace. And also the souls of the Madia Guyanese, the fire at the Madia girls' school in Guyana, that killed several girls in a massive blaze this year. May their souls rest in peace as well. That's another top story that we covered here as well. The Madia blaze in Guyana that killed several female students early on this year. We just want to say my condolences to their families and to their loved ones. That was very heartbreaking. And especially when you found out how the blaze got started. The blaze got started by a girl who was upset that her cell phone was taken by one of the school administrators. And so she wanted to prove a point. But the girls were locked up and they were trapped inside the actual dorm rooms. They could not get out because the way they had the dorm room so secured with steel bars and everything, the girls could not escape. And so they died trapped in there, burned to a crisp. My condolences to their families once again. And to Dutch Guyana, which we call Suriname as well, there were some miners that were trapped in a gold mine. That's our 7th story. And that's our 8th story, actually. So the 6th was the deaths of Dr. Carissa Etienne and Richard Drew. The 7th was the Guyana Mahdia fire. And the 8th is the Suriname gold mine deaths, where 14, gold miners had lost their lives just recently as well. My condolences out to their family and hopefully that they find some kind of peace and some answers to how the mine collapsed and get some sort of compensation from whoever the mining company. But apparently it was an illegal mining company as well, an illegal mining operation. So there's nothing much you really could do, I don't think the law would cover that, or insurance would cover that, because you should know to operate and go into a mine under strict rules and conditions. You should know better. You should take your own risk within yourselves. Non-fit voluntary injuria. Non-volenti fit injuria. Yeah. You got involved in your own, man. You're in your own frolic, and that's your business. Okay. So that's the 8th story. The 9th story, confidence in the police force in the region is at an all-time low. We hate the police. Not me. I love the police, but people in the region hate the police, man. Confidence at an all-time low. We cannot trust our police force to be honest and to be not corrupt. And they're citizens just like us, and they follow the same tendencies. I just think there's a few bad apples and making it look bad, but still though, we need to find a way we can have more confidence in our police force. We can't have international agencies saying we don't care about our police force. That strikes right to the heart of a lack of respect for the rule of law. And that cannot be. We can't have that in Central America or the Caribbean. Because we see now what's happening in Guatemala, where the person who has the highest office does not respect the rule of law, does not respect the electoral process. So what do you think about the rest of the people on the ground? They see the leadership acting like that. What are they going to do? So we got to get the confidence up in our police forces and our security forces, man. Or else, we have anarchy and we have chaos, man. We don't want that. We don't want that at all. And those were the top stories, man. Those are the things we covered all year this year. I'm sure there are more, but these are the top stories that come straight to my mind. Climate finance, Mia Motley, the Guatemala election, the El Salvador gang crackdown, the Dominica passport situation, the deaths of Dr. Carissa Etienne and Richard Drew. And oh yeah, we didn't talk about the troops that were supposed to go to Haiti from Kenya. That was another big story this year. And the Eminent Persons Group, the 3 former prime ministers from St. Lucia, Jamaica, and I think it's St. Lucia, Jamaica, and the Bahamas. Yes, we had the Right Honorable Perry Christie, the former prime minister of the Bahamas. We had Kenny Anthony, the former prime minister of St. Lucia, and Bruce Golding, the former prime minister of Jamaica. They made up the Eminent Persons Group. I was supposed to be helping to mediate some sort of change inside the Haitian community, inside Haiti, I should say. They were supposed to be there trying to get some institutions set up for the Haitian people so they can have a free and fair election. I just hope that they're doing a good job. We had a small report saying that they went back to Haiti to do some more work, but they haven't put up any kind of resolution. They just, from what I've understood, they understand that it's a daunting task. You can't force the Haitian people to do anything. They must come to a resolution on their own. But Prime Minister of Trinidad and Tobago, Dr. Keith Rowley, said very emphatically about 2 months ago, said that he understands, he knows that the leadership in Haiti under Ariel Henry cannot stand. And I agree with him wholeheartedly. Sometimes you just got to say it outright. If you want change in Haiti, Ariel Henry cannot be there. That establishment cannot be there. They need to go. They need to go. Now, I don't know what kind of backing that this eminent persons group in CARICOM would have from the United States, but the United States should be giving them backing, and Canada should be giving them backing to make sure they stand a good, free, and fair election, help to bolster some sort of normalcy in Haiti. And they are three competent administrators. They can do this. They can do this. Okay, they can do this. And this is what we've been asking for. We've been asking for external administrative body to come in there and stand up a few things. Stand up the police force. Stand up the prison guards. Stand up the healthcare services. Stand up the administrative service like the passport services and things of that nature. Stand some of these things up. Get some normalcy back in the country. These guys know how to administer stuff. They've been at the highest helm of their countries. They know exactly what an administrative body looks like. They know exactly how things are supposed to run. They know exactly what a government is supposed to look like, how things are supposed to be, how checks and balances look like. They are very experienced. And you have three wise men shepherd that country back to some sort of sense, man. I have confidence in those three men. And I think they can do it. Now, about the troops that's supposed to be coming from Kenya, we haven't heard anything about that recently. I thought they were going to be there before the end of the year. But apparently they're not. So they were going to have troops from Kenya, about 10,000 of them, joined in by troops from Jamaica and troops from the Bahamas. They were supposed to join that complement of troops from Kenya. Okay? But they haven't gotten in Haiti yet. So I'm not sure what's going to happen. But the gangs still are running rampant. And now I've been seeing some very, very harsh videos online, man. One suspected gang member, he was tied up in Haiti and burned by concerned citizens in Haiti. See, it's total anarchy, it's bloodshed. I watched that video. I was too shocked to see this man being burned alive. They just poured gasoline on the man and just burned him alive. Right there in the Haitian streets. He was a suspected gang member. Of course, they beat him up beforehand, but still, though, that was very shocking, man. So we have Haiti descending into further chaos and anarchy. So let's just give these eminent persons group our best. Let's hope they can get something done, man. And that's 9 stories. And the last breaking story that we have is this situation in Venezuela and Guyana. Venezuela wants to invade Guyana. Nicolas Maduro got to be a crazy man, right? So they had peace talks in St. Vincent and the Grenadines with the CARICOM leaders and Nicolas Maduro and or Dr. Irfan Ali meeting together to talk about this impasse, this Essequibo border that Venezuela wants to annex, which is now under the territory of Guyana. And it's been under the territory of Guyana since at least the 1800s, since the British Guyana was partitioned and Grand Colombia broken into two and left Colombia and now Venezuela. And so, that country is being partitioned. The Essequibo River has been always under Guyana at least for the past 100 plus years now. And it's being respected by the International Court of Justice. And even they have come out and said that, some of the border that's been established already that puts the Essequibo in the territory of Guyana must be respected by Venezuela. Venezuela says that it was always a part of Venezuela, and the Britain had no right to annex or to chop that part of Venezuela. But you have to remember now, Britain chopped that piece of the Essequibo River off from Venezuela when Venezuela wasn't even a country. Venezuela was still part of Grand Colombia. And actually, that was one entity. Colombia and Venezuela was one entity. It's called Grand Colombia. So there was no Venezuela. So Venezuela really has a lower and lower chance of even getting that back. So I don't know what's Nicolas Maduro's gambit is. I'll play a video for you now on Facebook of Dr. Irfan Ali giving his update on the talks that happened in Guyana. Let me share this video for you right now. Oh, my video is freezing, huh? Yeah, it's freezing. It does it every now and then. I need a new camera, guys. Put up a new camera for me, please. Let's share the screen. Share my screen. Share the screen. Let's go here. Right here. Watch this right here.
social media algorithms.
Let's talk to our friend Ali right now. He said, "No retreat, no surrender." Yeah, fine. Ali talking tough, man. Let's watch the rest of it though. Talking tough. Well, there you have it, man. For example, Brazil has promised to provide Guyana with troops and support in the event or in the eventuality that Venezuela would try to make a move on the Essequibo River and try to annex the Essequibo River, the Essequibo region, I should say. And the United States has been kind of mute on it, but yeah, of course, the United States always has, CARICOM's back, and Canada as well too. The United Nations was there too at this meeting. So at the meeting, you had Brazil present, you had United States present, you had Canada present, you had ECLAC, Economic Commission for Latin American Caribbean. They were present. United Nations was present. So along with the CARICOM leaders as well, with Maduro from Venezuela and Dr. Irfan Ali from Guyana. So all this happened in St. Vincent and the Grenadines yesterday afternoon. So I just want to thank all these clear and calm heads for coming together and sitting down at the table to talk before anything happens, anything major happens. I was like, Maduro has to realize that everyone's against him on this. He has to realize everyone's against him on this. This is not something that he's just going to just annex the Essequibo region. It's not going to happen. Not without a full-scale war. And for that, I think he knows for sure he'll be routed out of Venezuela. He will be he knows that. He shouldn't be foolish. So everyone wants to know what's his end game with this. Because he knows he just can't invade Guyana. Brazil has already said that they will destroy Venezuela if they invade Guyana. So sorry to have to go into any of something like that, but those are top stories we talk about all year, from climate finance to the Guyanese Venezuela border dispute. So, some the end of how I just want to wish you guys another Merry Christmas again and a Happy New Year. I hope you guys see 2024 in good health and good prosperity. And please, thank you for joining me this year in our first inaugural year of the LimeVibe Live podcast. We're going to end for this year. We're not going to do another show until next year, January 5th, like Friday evening. So please join us again next year. We're going to go on hiatus. We're going to do no more live shows. And so that's it. We're shutting down for the rest of the year. So thank you guys for joining us for this year. And please do enjoy our rest of our content on our Facebook and YouTube page. That's LimeVibe77. That's LimeVibe77 on Facebook and YouTube. Please like, share, subscribe, and share our content around the world, please. And also, there's a donate link inside the description. So please, if anything that moves you to give to the LimeVibe Live podcast, please do so. We would appreciate it. So thank you for joining me again for the LimeVibe Live podcast. I'm your host, Jory Kemp, signing off from you. And let's get out of here, gentlemen, ladies and gentlemen, ladies and germs. Let's get our outro music going. Sorry. Let's get that music cooked up. I didn't even have it queued up. I was just still listening to Dr. Irfan Ali just go off on Nicolas Maduro and protecting his country. There you go. Let's get out of here.